At COP29, Ibex Media Network covered various activities for our audience in Pakistan. Among the many discussions at COP, one stop was very different, at least for me. It was the Faith Pavilion. Here at the Faith Pavilion, it wasn't your typical climate conversation. It was different and honestly, very new for me. The people here were trying to heal the earth through spirituality. Wow, interesting. But how does that work? That is where I met Sister Jayanti, a key leader of Brahma Kumaris, a faith-based organization recognized by the UN for their work. The United Nations even seek their services on global issues like climate change, influencing important discussions at COP. Sister Jayanti's perspective was very new for me. She said the chaos we see in the world, like the climate crisis, is a reflection of a chaos within us. She believes humanity cannot truly solve these massive external problems unless we first address what's broken inside ourselves, inside you, me, and all humans. So I had a short but deeply insightful conversation with her about how spirituality and inner peace could help tackle global issues like climate change. Let's meet Sister Jayanti. Thank you very much for your time here, and thank you very much for giving the COP a very different perspective of what's needed to solve the problem. My first question is, why do you think is the basic problem lying when it comes to environmental crisis, but also all other crises that we are facing in the world?
I feel that it's a lack of spiritual values, and spiritual values only emerge when you connect with the being that you are within, the spirit. And when I say spiritual values, I'm talking about universal values. Peace and love and truth and purity, kindness and compassion and respect and cooperation. These are the foundation for human civilization. And because our focus has been so externalized, we haven't gone on that inner journey to connect with the spirit and the qualities within. And so the lack of values have created the economic situation, the political situation, the environmental situation. And so we're seeing a breakdown of society worldwide.
How do you think we can practically make it happen where we ingrain the spiritual values back again? What are those tools you think there are?
It's very easy. It's just a question of identity. Right from early age, a child is told, you belong to this family, this is your clan, and this is your nationality. And so that information is ingrained in that child. What we now have to do is to start remembering not just these external identities, but remembering that we are spirit. We are not skin, we are not bodies. Yes, the body is important, but I am that spirit that dwells within. And the spirit is the child of the divine. That's all it takes. Press the button, and again you can come back to the awareness of your spiritual identity, and this will make a difference in everything else.
How do you think all leaders in general, but particularly leaders of faith in different religions around the world, can play a pivotal role in dealing or solving the problems like in environmental issues or other issues in the world? What's their role?
I think they have to remind their congregations that spirituality is the foundation for the future. Because although they teach the scriptures, they might engage in rituals, they don't remind people of the most important essence. Come back to your spiritual identity as a child of God and connect with your core values. I think if religious leaders were to focus on this one message, it would make such a huge difference.
Why is faith aspect very important for particularly dealing with climate change? Or in other words, say in this chaotic environment that we have here in COP29, there's too many negotiations but too little common grounds to have understanding what part faith can play in this COP, but also for the communities out there to come on a common ground.
Three things. One, the relationship with each other, human to human, that will then remove all the ifs and buts and maybes. This is your boundary, this is what you should do. Those things will go away if we start recognizing that we're one family. And that is the teachings of all traditions. That's one. The second is learning again to respect nature and not to destroy nature in its myriad forms, but to come back to that awareness of treating nature as sacred, as a gift from God. And then thirdly, recognizing that God doesn't want to bring about an end, but God actually would like us to have a fresh beginning. And so giving hope for the future. Because if I look at science is saying that we've already crossed many of the tipping points beyond which we can't return. That's already happened. People are scared to say this, but that is the reality. We've already reached 1.5 this year, degrees Celsius, and the needle is going up and up and up. And so how are we going to turn it back? So many people are in a state of despair and hopelessness. Faith restores hope and the conviction that there is a better world ahead, but we have to be the co-creators together with God to make it happen.
Thank you. One final question. You've attended many COPs. Firstly, how many? And secondly, how far we've come in solving the problem, or if we are heading towards solving it?
I've been attending COP since 2009. I've missed 2 COPs due to personal reasons and 1 COP due to COVID. But apart from that, I've attended each and every one. And the good thing, I've been seeing the inclusion more and more of civil society, and in particular of the faith-based organizations. So that's a good step forward. What I haven't seen is the decrease in carbon emissions, even though there's so much talk about it. So I feel that spiritual education and also just scientific education of our relationship with nature is vital.
Thank you very much. I have one personal question that from the discussions we were having outside, which is we need to find a balance between how much we listen to our brain and how much we listen to our heart. In such a chaotic world, we are so inclined towards being very rational and running behind all those things, but we have very hard time finding our balance. What one has to do to have that balance of peace?
Start the day with time for the self, even if it means waking up 10 minutes earlier than the family, 30 minutes earlier than the rest of the family, making time for myself to be able to have an inner dialogue, to listen to what my heart is saying and what my conscience is saying. Not just my heart. Heart is feelings and love and emotion, which is fine, but my conscience is my guide. And so spending a little bit of time each day listening to the voice of conscience will keep me on track.
What kind of practices do you do on a daily basis when it comes to connecting to your spirituality?
Just focusing on the inner being of light that I am and letting my thoughts come back to a focus of who I am, and then connecting with the divine, the light, the supreme. All traditions understand that God isn't a human or an angel, it is the being of light. And so in the awareness of the inner self and the connection with the divine, I can find clarity.
Thank you very much, sister.
Thank you for watching this. We would love to hear you what you think of the conversation and the idea of Brahma Kumaris. Stay tuned to Ibex Media Network for more interesting stories like these.